Okay, so I left off with street ministry and what we did. That was what we planned, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun. So moving on to things that God kind of threw in our lap, which were cool. So I told you guys about the safe house and how the girls live there. So we lived there from Saturday night until Wednesday afternoon, I think. The reason for that, oh, no, back up. So, Joe, the pastor, he has this ministry, this outreach thing. He does a bunch of them. He does sack lunches for homeless people, and like the homeless youth, and he does this thing called, well, the people on the street, the sex workers call them pretty bags, but what they do, they pretty much do these runs on the street where they go out like 11:30, and they would go to the sex workers and bring them these bags of just things that they would need, like chapstick and hair ties, band-aids, bobby pins, hair clips. I just said like 3 things that were the same. Hand sanitizer, condoms, just things that they would need. And it was, we had 3 different groups. They usually only do 2 runs, I think, but because we had such a big group, we didn't want to bombard them. We didn't want to like scare them. So we ended up going out on 3 different nights. I think Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Friday night. Tuesday night went out, and it was like a group of 6 of them, I think. And yeah, they were talking to people, and then the next day, I think that night they heard that there were people being rescued, and going to be put in the safe house. And so we were kind of like, ooh, there's already 14 of us in here. And so Wednesday we packed up all our stuff and kind of waited for a call to see whether or not the people that were being rescued, the girls that were being rescued, were going to live in the house. And they were. So 3 girls ended up getting rescued, and so all 14 of us had to pack up our stuff and move into the boys' house, which wasn't too far away. And man, that was cool. That was like, we didn't, like planning for an arch trip. We're like, yeah, and these 3 people get rescued, and we're like, what? God, you're so awesome. Way to go. And man, it was just really cool. These 3 girls were staying there. There were these 3 Chinese girls, and we would take, after we moved, like all of the girls moved into the boys' house, we ended up taking shifts of 3 girls, and we would hang out at the house and kind of do whatever they needed us to do, kind of like taking care of them. And there were 2 translators that were there with them. And Joe's wife would come in and out. She would come and talk to us, hang out, make food or whatever. And then there were whoever the 3 girls were. And I remember I was on the first like shift of staying there. It was my friends Emily and Kristen. And I remember we were getting ready to go, and Kristen was like, "Hey, Hannah, do you want to come with us to the house and stay over the night? They want to do a worship night." And so I'm like, "Sweet, let's go." And so I go to Tommy, who's one of my buddies, and I'm like, "Hey, can I borrow your guitar?" And he's like, "Well, you can take any of the guitars." So I took one of the guitars. We went to the house, and in my mind, I'm like, "Yes, we're gonna lead worship. It's gonna be sweet." I was getting really excited, and we were going over there, but then Kristen was like, "Well, I don't know if they're gonna want to do it because they're really tired. They've been sleeping a lot, and they might not even be awake." And so we're like, "That's cool too." So we go over there, and we're getting ready. We're kind of wondering what we're gonna be doing there. We walk in, and Joe goes, "You want to build furniture?" And so Kristen and Emily and I just kind of look at each other, and at this point we're cranky and tired, but the dynamic of our team, even if we were cranky, we're all pretty good about joking around and stuff. So we're like, "Sure, we'll build furniture for you." So you know, in my head, we're about to go and do worship, and then when we get there, we're building IKEA furniture, which was still really funny because these girls, the girls that I was with, they're some of my, you know, we're buddies, so it was just really funny. And Joe is a very sarcastic, and like when I say sarcastic, I don't even think that you can like even imagine how sarcastic he is. Like he is so sarcastic that sometimes you think that he hates you, but he doesn't. And it's really funny because that's how a lot of our team are. A lot of the people in our team are like that. I can't speak English. It's fine. So yeah, he fit in real well with our team, which is really funny. But Joe made fun of us because of 3 girls building furniture. He's like, yeah, I'll come back when you guys mess up. We ended up building 2 beds and like this little closet thingy. And man, it was rough because we were tired, but we did it, Joe. We freaking did it. But yeah, that was part 1 of like human trafficking. We just kind of did that. And so I was one part of the ministry, and then that night people were going out again to go give these pretty bags. And then Thursday we went to go watch a play. Oh, a musical. We watched the Oz musical, which was really cool because I think that was my first musical, like a legit like a professional one. Like I've seen my high school ones, but that was really cool. And then Friday, we did more ministry. And at that point, man, you guys know that I have problems with my shoulder. With my right shoulder, I have tendonitis real bad, and like if I overwork it, then it's rough. And so for 4 days straight, I was playing the ukulele for 2. Actually, no, that's a lie. Because when I would get home, I would play a little bit. So probably 4 hours a day, I would be playing the ukulele in the cold, which was really rough on my shoulder, and it was just tearing it apart. I was in a lot of pain. It was swelling, and it was not fun. But I would every time I would have pain, I would just kind of pray through it and kind of get through it and be like, God, we can do this. I can do it. And that's partly because I'm stubborn. You guys know that because I never won wrestling ever. But at this point, Friday, I was in a lot of pain. I had a hard time playing the ukulele or the guitar when we were out doing ministry, and it was definitely wearing on me. And so Friday night was my night to go out. And we were telling testimonies. I was kind of laying on the floor next to my friends, and like my friends were all sitting. We were always really cramped into a room because we would always tell testimonies and kind of tell testimonies of like what happened in the day, but then we would tell like our life testimony. So that was just our way of kind of winding down after the day. And I'm sitting there and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm getting really tired, and then they're like, "Hey, it's time to go." And I remember I got up and I was cranky. I was not happy. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm really tired. I'm in pain. You know, I don't want to do this. And earlier in the week, I bought an energy drink and I put it in the fridge. But I had left it there because I ended up not needing it for the night I thought I would. And so one of the worship leaders, Adam, I'm like real cranky. I'm getting ready and I'm like, oh man, you know, we have to go out. And Adam comes up to me. And Adam, kind of backstory to this, Adam, he's the worship leader, and in all of the emails that he sends for like weeks that we do worship, if you're on, the bottom line says, I believe in you. And so that's always a joke. So he walks up to me, and he had just gotten done telling his testimony, so like the I believe in you kind of made sense. But at that moment, I needed that. And so I'm standing there, and I'm grumpy, and Adam comes to me, and he says, hey, you have a Red Bull in the fridge? I believe in you. And that, like, now it's a joke, and yeah, I make fun of him a little bit for it, but at that moment, I needed that. And I needed to feel like it was going to be okay, which I knew it was, but I was cranky and I was in pain. And just him telling me that he believed in me, it was like, yes, I can do this. So I went out and didn't see anyone. I didn't see any sex workers. Because Joe and I, it was weird. Joe and I went on the part that was supposed to be really busy, and no one ended up being there, and we didn't see anyone until we parked again to go meet the rest of the team. But driving around and praying for these girls definitely broke my heart, because you know, these girls don't think that they have anything else. They don't think that they can go anywhere else and do something else to kind of, you know, make it and survive. And you know, there's this one story that they told us of this girl who had been trafficked, and she was a sex worker, and her pimp kind of held her up in a room for 4 days and beat her, abused her, and kind of left her and took all her clothes, and then she got rescued, and she was in the safe house, and then she went back. And that broke my heart, and they said that we could potentially see her working, you know, hanging out on the street, and so I'm like, alright. Joe and I ended up not seeing anyone. There were some girls that were walking, and they saw a bunch of people, and then there was another van, and they saw a lot of people. Joe and I saw no one. So we're about to leave, and Patricia, who's Joe's wife, is about to drive us home back to the boys' house, and we're going, and we see the girl that had been abused and had been holed up in this room. We're talking to her, and we saw her, and man, that she is such a sweetheart. Like, these women, like, you stand there and you talk to them, like, man, they're so nice. You'd think that they'd be like, I don't know, like upset or like, I'm doing this again, but she was such a sweetheart. She was great, and it just made my heart break, thinking that, you know, she's doing this and she doesn't think that there's a way out. So I'm gonna cut this video because it's way over 10 minutes. But I'll kind of tell you what happened towards the end, and kind of what's happening now with that. So see you in the next one.